Thank you for checking out Tea and a Buddy on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello, and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 castles in the UK. Top castles in the UK.
Yes. For some reason, I've heard that castle talk is not that popular.
Nobody wants to talk about castles on the internet. What is the matter with people?
Who are these people who don't want to talk about castles?
It was one of the first things that Erica ever said to me when she told me she was coming to the UK to visit. She says, well, I've booked a trip over to the UK to visit. And I was like, oh, well, what kind of stuff do you want to see over here? You know, besides like the Beatles stuff and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And you're just like, and I just remember your little voice on the phone going, I want to see castles.
I want to see castles.
I want to see castles.
Yeah, because
I want to see the castles.
We don't have castles over here, so...
Tell me about the castles. Show me the castles.
I mean, yeah, for me that was one of the big attractions of going to the UK was the fact that there's actual real-life castles everywhere.
Real-life castles that are very old. And yeah, I mean, some of them obviously are in ruins. I mean, I don't know. There's thousands of castles in the UK. I mean, you know, every one of them rubble, and some of them, you know, completely, you know, the same as they were back when they were built. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we've only visited a couple of them, so
only a couple.
So we had to look up a list, and we're going to talk about the castles that are on this list that we found. Yeah. But we definitely will probably be talking about some of these castles in depth on our places we want to go series. Yeah, because there's definitely many more castles that I need to visit. Well, besides the ones that we're going to mention.
Because we've seen them on TV shows and stuff, and you know, stuff, and you're just like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't seen that castle. What's going on here?
Yeah. So, we did a preliminary little Google search, and came up with this Travel Channel article, wasn't it?
The Travel Channel article. Oh, yes, the notorious Travel Channel article.
Yeah. And definitely number one on their list is probably my number one, that I would like to see once we resume our travels.
Yeah. We're being cooped up and everything over here, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I've changed I've changed one of them to one of ours.
One of the ones that.
So this is really only their list is only 9 of them, and you know, and I've put one on there.
And you didn't move them around. I don't know that they ordered them or anything like that.
No, they didn't order them. No,
it's just like these are the top 10. Boom.
Top 10. Boom. Yeah.
Only these are their top 9, and then plus our number 10 and a couple others.
Honorary mentions.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Windsor Castle.
Yes.
That's number 1. Number 1 for everyone. And it's the oldest and largest occupied castle, official royal residence in the world.
Yeah. They spend a lot of time at Windsor, don't they?
I think pretty much all the time. I mean, they say it's a Queen's weekend retreat, but it's like really, you're there all the time.
They live, they're over
there
more than
weekend
they are at
retreat. It's like,
Buckingham.
I mean,
it seems like they're there more than they are at Buckingham
I think
Palace.
she only goes to Buckingham Palace when she needs to do something.
Yeah, if there's like business.
Business, you know, like the Queen, the Queen needs to see heads of state and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Other heads of state.
I know. What is the difference between a castle and a palace, really quickly?
I think, I'm not actually too sure. I think a palace is just built as like a stately home.
Right,
it's not a fortification.
It's just like a big mansion. Right.
It's not a castle is a fortification.
To me, a castle is older.
Yeah.
A palace is something more recent that royalty lived in more recently.
Yeah, when there was no real need for a fortification.
Yeah.
And when we say fortification, we mean like a castle. You know, it's like there would be a garrison there.
Yeah, that's why they have the...
Like Windsor Castle would have a garrison
there. The towers
towers and the big outer walls and everything, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
I don't know why
it's 900 years old.
I don't know why we didn't go to Windsor. I mean, I kind of know why, and we'll mention the other one when we get down to it, the one that we did visit on my first trip to Britain.
Yeah.
But I really want to go to Windsor, and it doesn't really even have anything to do for me, the fact that they live there.
Yeah.
It just looks awesome. It looks so cool.
It looks huge. I mean, it's huge and it's situated 20 miles west of London.
Yeah.
All these little blurbs start with how far this is from London.
Because it's the only place in Britain that any of Americans know.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't tell the average Joe over here anything, because they might not know where London is.
Yeah,
on a map.
But I guess it's helpful if you're going to visit the UK because you want to visit London.
Yeah,
and you're going to fly into London. So, like,
we go. Yeah.
How far is this from London? From where
you're
going to
fly
be
into London?
You know.
Yeah, I'm going to be in London, and I need to know how many miles this is from London.
Yeah.
So this is only 20 miles. Windsor's only 20 miles from London, so it's not that far.
But yeah, he read this article, and he goes, every single one of these blurbs starts with how many miles it is from London. That would really, really annoy most British people.
Well, it would. Yes, it would. It's over 900 years old, and the grounds include several homes and a large church. I think that's where Harry and Meghan got married, was in the church.
In
Windsor Castle.
Yeah, I think so.
And the Royal Palace. So there's a castle and a palace there, too. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's...
again, I think the palace is more recent.
Than the
castle. Didn't that castle burn down at one point, or not down, but
it's caught fire several times. Buckingham Palace has caught fire several times.
Oh, has it?
And it's caught fire mainly because of like old electrics and people not maintaining everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, this one in particular was built. It has roots in the Middle Ages, this article says. So it's
over 900 years old.
There was no electricity when this thing was built. Yeah, so
it's almost a millennium.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy. And it looks awesome, you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely look up Windsor Castle.
Yeah, I think everybody knows Windsor Castle. They've heard of it anyway. Sure, I mean, tell us if you haven't. So.
Yeah. And the little village that's like right there.
Windsor.
Is it Windsor?
Yeah, it's Windsor.
Yeah, the only reason I know it is because of the Harry and Meghan wedding, and they showed them all. They all went through it to get to Windsor Castle, right? And it just looks like such a cute little old-fashioned village. It looks so cute too. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely my number one castle that I want to visit when we get back to the UK.
Yeah, we'll go through Windsor in a carriage.
Yes.
Pulled by horses and down the massive drive that goes up to the castle.
I'll wear my tiara.
He's like waving to everybody, the confused faces. It's like, who's that?
Who's this?
Who's this now?
No, not another American.
Who's this now coming to get married at the castle?
Oh my gosh.
Over 1 million people visit Windsor.
Well,
each year,
yeah.
And I think it's played host to like heads of state and stuff like that, like Bill Clinton and everything.
It's definitely like second most well known to Buckingham Palace. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We're both like having serious allergy problems.
Yeah, no, I just
like, if you hear us every 5 seconds, then that's why.
Number 2 is Hampton Court.
I didn't even know.
And this one's located a few miles from London. It doesn't exactly tell you. It's just a few miles.
It's just a few.
And it's along the River Thames, so just follow the Thames and you'll
yeah, well, there you go. That's the easiest way to find it, I guess.
It's in 1,000 rooms. It's a palace, really, but it was occupied by Henry VIII.
But it's amazing looking.
Yeah, and there's a maze there.
And I didn't even know about this one. We've seen this film. What is that film from? The Henry VIII film.
2003. Well, the one with Ray Winston as Henry VIII.
Yeah, and they filmed parts of it actually there, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think a few.
And then again, I mean, not to shout out YouTube too many times here, but again, we've seen YouTubers visit Hampton Court, and I'm just like, what is this? How come I don't know about this place? It looks awesome. It looks amazing. I think Travel Channel's done a really good job here with their number 1 and number 2 mentions. Yeah,
Hampton Court. Yeah, that's another famous palace in.
I had never heard of this one.
Castle. It was once occupied by Henry VIII. I think he pretty much lived there. It's kind of famous for.
I thought it was where he had retreated to when Anne Boleyn was killed. He was like, Anne
Boleyn, I think he beheaded Anne Boleyn. Yeah, so he had to get out of there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. When Anne Boleyn was beheaded, he was just like, oh, I'm going to Hampton Court.
Because he had, if you're not familiar with the story of Henry VIII, he had 6 wives, 2 of whom were beheaded.
Yeah.
I think it went divorced, beheaded, divorced, beheaded, and then he married and survived. I think number 6 survived. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the last one. So wife number 5 was 15-year-old Catherine Howard, and she was accused of adultery because he just wanted to get rid of her. And she was imprisoned at Hampton Court, and she escaped, and she was caught and then tried for treason.
Yeah.
And she was brought back to Hampton Court, and after trying to escape, and she was dragged through a gallery that's now called the Haunted Gallery.
Oh my God! How crazy!
And
how scary and haunted and creepy and weird.
And there's a famous maze there now as well, which has confused visitors for over 300 years. And Erica is a big fan of mazes because she was like, "Oh, there's a maze,
hedge maze, yeah,
hedge mazes."
That is one of the things that
the few great pleasures in life.
That's one of the things that made me choose the castle that we did go visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it had a hedge maze. Yes, I was very into that.
My life has just been building up to this moment where I get to go in a hedge maze.
I was a big fan of The Shining, and then there was that whole
that's right. There was a hedge maze in that, wasn't there?
Yeah. And then in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
And, yes.
Other things. It's just like, hedge maze. I wanted to see if I could conquer it.
And you did, didn't you? Yeah. If it wasn't for those pesky kids.
Oh my God, we'll get there. We'll
get there. Yeah. Number 3 is Stirling Castle.
I have never heard of this one.
This one's situated 450 miles from London. Stirling Castle's in Scotland.
This one's quite far now.
It's a well-known symbol of Scotland.
So I'd say about a 9-hour drive, probably.
About a 9-hour drive, maybe 8.
Yeah.
Depends on how fast you're driving. And just outside the walls stands a monument to William Wallace.
Oh, okay.
Who led a small army against the English king, Edward I.
And this is in
at
where?
The Battle of Stirling.
This is in where in Scotland?
Stirling.
Do we know? Stirling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stirling Bridge.
So it's named after the place.
In 1297, yeah.
Okay. Huh. I've never heard of this place.
Yeah, I mean, it's the castle. That's what it's known for. It's like a well-known, the Stirling Castle. That's where Mel Gibson made his stand. Yeah. And
I mean,
in 1996,
you say that and you laugh, but all these old castles, they've been there a lot. There have been a lot of movies filmed at them.
Well, yeah, there have, and we're going to get to a couple of them too. Among the 8 centuries of battles and murders at Stirling, something very positive and enlightening did occur at this castle. So yeah, it wasn't just all murder and battle and everything. And 8 centuries,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Windsor Castle's been standing there for 9, so...
Yeah.
One of the first attempts at flight was recorded there during the reign of King James IV of Scotland. Scientist John Damien announced he would fly from Stirling Castle to France.
And did it work?
It was a little bit ambitious, I think.
No, if it was 500 years ago.
I guess the king just said, "Yeah, go on then." Yeah. And he assembled strips of wood and chicken feathers and glue.
My God.
And he was just like, and he
This
stood
sounds
on
like
the
a
walls,
success.
jumped off a stone
Oh,
wall,
no.
and gracefully flew straight down, dropping like a stone.
But he didn't die, obviously, if this was a positive thing that
Yeah, I
happened.
don't think he died. He died later, but he didn't die right then.
So 500 years ago, when would that have been? That would have been after Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sometime anyway.
Sometime anyway.
Okay, cool.
Number 4 is Carnarvon Castle. And
Yeah.
you love this.
I saw that this one was on the list, and I definitely remember looking it up at some point, but I can't remember which castle this is.
And you can take a sip of your drink, because we're doing a drinking game here. It's 250 miles from London. So get it down, yeah.
So, Carnarvon Castle, is that in North Wales?
It's on the Welsh coast. It's like mid-Wales.
Okay.
I'd say it's in mid-Wales, maybe just to the north.
Okay, yeah.
It was built over 800 years ago, because all these castles, they were built around that time. It was
remember,
around the same time as like the Norman
I can remember like looking this one up
conquest and everything.
to see how far it was away from where you lived in Wales, because
you wanted to go.
I was looking for places to go. Yeah, but I can't remember. Like, I'm trying to imagine what it looks like, and I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Because some of these castles,
It looks like a castle.
I don't know how many on this list are just like ruins. Because most
only
of them...
one is technically ruined.
Oh,
and,
really?
And you're going to be surprised at which one it is, actually, I think.
Because the castle we visited, and obviously Windsor and all of these other kind of castles, they have rooms that you can actually go into, and they stage them, like, set them up in certain periods. You know, you might move from one that's, like, decorated, like, medieval, and then to another
How
one
it was in the early times, and then, you know, like and then now, you know.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it was at the castle we went to.
Yeah, maybe like Victorian era, then maybe like the 20s, 30s, something like that, and then now. But then other castles around Britain are literally just the outer walls.
They're just the outer walls,
and so you
there's
can go
nothing
through a door,
in there because
right.
It's been stripped or knocked down, and people have just like, it's not.
In order for it to be safe enough, I'm guessing, to visit, they just knocked down the rooms and stuff because they were already falling down. Yeah. So you can go through doorways and things like that, but you're still outside. There's no, you're not going inside anywhere in many of the castles in Britain.
It was built when King Edward I of England conquered North Wales. Yeah, this was his his Conquest of Wales series he was doing. And he took the title of Prince of Wales from the Welsh.
Oh, God, yeah. Because
there was kings in Wales. It was Llywelyn ap Gruffydd.
Right.
Llywelyn ap Griffith or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't really speak Welsh, so. He was a king, and, so, Edward I was the English king, and he basically conquered Wales, so. Yeah. That's when it became England and Wales. Because it's a small place, Wales. I mean, it's not many people live there, even today. Yeah. Most of the middle bit it's like, farmland. And, it's just like the middle of nowhere, really, Yeah. So he took the title of the Prince of Wales from the Welsh, and then since that time, the eldest son of the king or queen has been dubbed the Prince of Wales. Right. So and there's only been 21. Oh yeah. And the 21st is obviously Charles. Yeah. And he was, at the ceremony in Carnarvon. If you've watched The Crown, you'll the latest series of The Crown, you'll have seen that.
So before Elizabeth became queen, then was she the Princess of Wales?
Oh. No, she wasn't, because she wasn't supposed to be queen.
Yeah.
No, she.
But her dad was king for a time.
A time, yes.
So wouldn't she have? She would have been.
No, I don't think it works like that. I mean, I know there was Diana, Princess of Wales. I think the princess only comes with marrying the prince.
What was her title then when her dad was king?
Just Princess Elizabeth.
Yeah.
at the end. That was the end of
The
it.
end.
Yeah, it was
Princess Elizabeth.
I'm
the end.
actually. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of like, her formal title was this, and you'll find out. But it's just like she was Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret.
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she wasn't princess. She was a princess, obviously, all the time. From the moment she was born, but she wasn't
she was a princess.
Well, that's what it's true. She was like, oh yeah, she was the princess, but they were the spares.
Yeah, right.
And her dad was like, akin to that. She's basically what Beatrice is now.
Yeah.
They're never going to be, unless something dramatic happens. Yeah. They're never going to be on the throne. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So in 1969, at Carnarvon, that's when Prince Charles was invested as the Prince of Wales.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at Carnarvon Castle?
Yeah, that's where it all takes place. So the next one...
Spell it really quickly for people because it's not spelled the way it sounds.
Caernarfon.
Carnarvon.
Carnarvon. There it was. Number 5 is the first one you ever went to.
Yeah, my first
in your whole life.
My first ever castle in ever. Yeah.
Leeds Castle.
Yeah.
Which is in Kent.
Yeah, and the reason that we chose to go to this castle is simply because my uncle had been there and he recommended it to me. Yeah. And then also it had a hedge maze.
How many miles is it from London?
I don't know that.
30.
Is it only 30?
Yeah. I mean, it's in Kent, so Kent's like next to London.
Yeah.
Kent is a county. It's one of the home counties.
We took like a little bus or a little van or something out there, right? I can't remember how long it took, but yeah, I thought it seemed like it took a little bit longer than 30 minutes.
It's famous because it was a home of Henry VIII. It was 900 years.
It's got a moat. That was
got a moat.
That was another.
It looks like the classic fairy tale kind of castle of like English yore,
Yeah.
Henry VIII was there, it was like it's situated in the Kent countryside near to Maidstone. Mm-hmm. So everybody's like, oh yeah, this is the castle, and this is the castle that Americans know. Yeah. Because William Randolph Hearst tried to buy it.
Oh.
At one point.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't want it when he discovered there was missing bathrooms. So there's not enough... where are the bathrooms? He's like... And also, there's no electricity in this place.
Oh, gee.
And the servants' quarters had served as dungeons. He's like, yeah, get that out of here.
Yeah.
So he's just like, nah. But then, of course, in 1926, it was bought by Lady Bailey.
Yeah.
I don't know who she must have had some money.
She was just some, wealthy.
Rich heiress.
Yeah, we learned about her when we were there. But
because her family still own it to this day, I think. Or did they? Oh, no, she sold it to the National Trust, didn't she?
I am not
Or English Heritage or someone.
Yeah. Her family did.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. So it's now obviously open to the public, and they filmed a lot of stuff there. I think some of Harry Potter was filmed there.
It's a really good looking castle. I mean, it's like Dominic said, it looks.
We
like
took a day trip from London.
Mm-hmm.
On a coach, on a bus.
Yeah.
And we got down there with a party, and we went around and stuff, and I just remember, I remember like, the bus is going to leave at 5 p.m. or something, and it was like 4:58. And I was like, okay, we're at the other end of the castle, and Erica's still there taking pictures. And I didn't say anything to her. I wasn't trying to hurry her because I was like...
You were huffing.
I was not huffing.
You were huffing. And I
was not huffing. I wasn't puffing either. And I wasn't blowing anyone's house down.
He was.
I was just like... because I was like, because I thought, they're a stickler, they'll just bugger off and leave us here, and then we'll be screwed,
But yeah, you didn't say, and I was just like, I had no idea what time it was.
No, because you were just taking you were taking pictures of swans and taking pictures of the lake, and in the moat there's like this dragon thing, isn't there?
Yeah,
there was when we went there. This was 12 years ago.
It's a bit like a Loch Ness monster type.
Yeah, it's just like
type.
I know there's a maze there.
Yeah.
Went through the maze. We got stuck in the maze.
We couldn't figure the maze out, and then
we were the only ones in there.
Yeah.
We went in there and we were like, okay, we're the only ones in here because I'm not seeing anyone else.
It was like
and
November.
then all of a sudden we heard, wah! And all these kids are like, okay, kids let's go.
Kids on a school trip.
And they were let loose in the maze like rats in a run, you know. They honestly, wasn't it? Like barging into us and everything. And then a teacher came in or someone, one of the things, oh, sorry, I didn't know there was anyone in here. I thought it was empty, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was like, I've been here for 84 years.
And then he's like, oh, if you just keep your hand on the right side.
We should have said, there's no one in here. We're ghosts. Woo!
He goes, oh, if you just keep your hand on the right side the whole time, it'll take you right to the middle. And I was like, thank you very much for ruining my first ever.
Now, then she was huffing
experience.
because she was huffing, and I was like, well, just take a few wrong turns, and then you won't remember where you are. We got to the little grotto though, and you were just kind of underwhelmed by that, weren't you? You were just like, oh, I thought there was going to be a big McDonald's or something here.
I did not say that. God.
I thought there was going to be something at the end of this.
Grotto, I thought it was just going to be a bit more like mystical, magical looking, but
it was.
It was okay.
We saw a couple of ghosts there.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
But then we almost lived at Leeds Castle because Dominic didn't tell me it was time to go.
Yes, but we got back. It was okay. The bus driver waited for us. He was very nice.
We do recommend Leeds Castle though. It was a very good castle, especially if you've never been to a castle before.
Yes. Number 6 is Tintagel or Tintagel Castle.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, we're talking about Cornwall.
Oh, right.
Because it's situated in Cornwall.
Which is how many miles from London?
It actually doesn't say.
Are you kidding?
They stopped. They got too excited when they wrote this. They forgot to put in how many miles it was from London.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say it's roughly 300 miles.
Yeah.
Thereabouts, because Cornwall's about that. And it was built 800 years ago by the Earl of Cornwall, and who was brother of the King of England. The Earl was intrigued by the legends of King Arthur and his infamous Camelot. And, you know, the castle was constructed to resemble the court where it's believed King Arthur reigned for so many years. So, yeah, he was just like, oh, yeah, just make this look like it might have been. And so everybody's just like, oh, yeah, that's where it all happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, King Arthur, Sword in the Stone, Merlin, all that stuff happened there.
You know, to be honest, I mean, I want to go to Cornwall. I want to visit Cornwall because it looks beautiful. But because this is not really a real thing, I don't know that I'm that interested. I mean, I
haven't got pictures up of these, so we're just looking at text. So I haven't pulled up pictures.
They say, I think the information that we were reading when we were talking about Cornwall, it says it's really magnificent looking.
I think it is. But I think all the ones that aren't ruined are magnificent.
But was it? I mean, they don't know whose castle it was, or they don't know any history about it, so they're like, "Oh, King Arthur. This is King Arthur."
Well, no, it was built by the Earl of Cornwall.
Okay.
And it was built 800 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And he just constructed it because he was fascinated by the legend of it. So through time, people have gone, "Oh yeah, King Arthur in it. He lived there."
Yeah.
But it was like, no, it wasn't. It was just like...
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's go with that. It's got King Arthur mock battles, so it's like the Civil War reenactments. They reenact King Arthur battles, and each summer hundreds of enthusiasts come to relive the days of King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table.
Well, that's fun now, isn't it?
That is very fun. And I bet no one's huffing in that one, and I bet there's no bus driver.
Oh my god, I bet there is.
Yeah, I bet there is. Number 7 is Warwick Castle, and this one is situated less than 100 miles from London, everybody. It's known for its beautiful interior and the medieval reenactments that take place there. Yes, medieval reenactments.
I remember looking this castle up years ago, yeah.
You just want to go to this castle. Do the medieval reenactments with the bustle and everything like that, and the hair.
This one, okay, sure. This one has a big, a big open round space like that. So I guess during the summer they like have a big basically festival where they do all of that. Yeah, it looks really cute.
Until 25 years ago, generations of Earls of Warwick had resided in the castle.
Until 25? Wow.
The turn of the 20th century, Frances, Countess of Warwick, also known as Daisy, was known around England for her lavish high society parties. And some of her guests included Winston Churchill, Edward, Prince of Wales, and the future King Edward the Eighth.
Yeah.
So I think I've heard Warwick Castle was the big place to be, for society. And
Huh, that's interesting. I wonder why no one lives there now, though. I wonder why. What happened 25 years ago that they were like,
sold
that's it.
25 years ago, they probably had no money, and they were just like, I can't afford this anymore.
Oh,
because most of the aristocracy now, they're skint.
Yeah.
There's no money coming in.
Right.
They're not living off the land. They're not like, it's got all the money.
Yeah.
It's all gone. Number 8, Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah, this one looks good.
This is located 400 miles north of London.
In a little known place called Edinburgh.
Yeah, which is actually a capital city in the UK.
Jeez. I can't believe they relate.
And it's one of the most visited cities in Europe.
It's beautiful. I really want to go to Edinburgh. That'll be on our list of places we want to go.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yes. I think it's a classic castle on the hill because, you've got the old town and new town and then you've got the castle up on the hill. It's just like, the castle. Yeah. He's up in the castle, and he... Aye. It's now the protector and the safekeeper of the Scottish crown jewels. The 500-year-old crown, sword and sceptre were used at the coronations of kings and queens of Scotland. Along with the crown jewels, the castle was the keeper of the clock. Every day for 150 years at 1 p.m, a loud gun would fire, signaling the correct time to sailors.
They still do that.
And they still do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang, it's like, oh!
Tradition, yeah. Yeah, so you've got to get used to that, I guess.
Visitors to Edinburgh Castle can see the dungeons used to incarcerate thousands of prisoners over the years.
So it's sort of like...
To show real conditions, then wax models are positioned throughout the dungeon,
So it's sort of like Scotland's Tower of London, which is next.
Which is the next one, number 9 on the list,
Yeah.
The Tower of London. For over 1,000 years, the Tower of London has dominated the city's skyline.
That is so cool.
Yeah. That is... I think of it as the original castle because I think it was born. It was born out of the Norman conquest. William the Conqueror had it done.
Yeah.
He started up because he came over in 1066, and that's when England really started rocking.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, the Tower of London, that was kind of London, really. Wasn't it? Because castles. Because the thing about a castle is, within the castle walls was the town, whatever the town was, right? So, really...
there was Londinium before that. There was variations of, around that, because that's, a perfect, spot for ships to just come up and just go blop. Mm-hmm. Lovely,
Yeah.
This is where we'll camp.
Yeah.
The Romans started a little settlement there, but it wasn't until the Norman invasion that they were like, this is where we're planting the flag. You guys, and everything just comes from there,
I really cannot recommend the Tower of London enough. It's really amazing. There's so much history there. I mean, obviously, there's kind of statement.
Yes, the yeoman warders really go for it. The beef eaters, they call them.
Yeah, but I mean, even in more recent times, it was still being used as a prison.
Torture, murder, executions.
Oh my God.
All happened there. Number 10, our final one, Conwy Castle. That's the one I added.
This is the one we replaced, whatever theirs was.
St. Michael's Mount, I think it was.
Okay.
Which I have no idea where that is.
Anyway, Conwy, we are way over time, so we're going to just speed right through this. Conwy Castle is in Wales. We've talked about it in our Welsh podcast before. Go back and listen to that if you want to know more about it.
It was built in 1289.
It's one of the ones that's...
by Edward I.
It's one of the ones that's in ruins.
It's in ruins. Yeah. That was the surprising one,
Yeah, no, there's no inside. Like
there's no inside.
You pay to go in, but it's just...
But it's like you're going into like something that looks like a castle from the outside, and it's completely hollow.
The shell. Yeah, but I'd say it's still worth it, looking...
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
I think it's I think I read somewhere, I don't know if this is in your notes, that it's like the oldest complete castle from like the medieval period in Britain.
Yeah, UNESCO considers it a World Heritage Site because it's the finest examples of late 13th century and early 14th century military architecture in Europe.
Yeah, and it's complete. The outside of it is all complete. It's the only thing about it is you're not going to be actually inside rooms when you move from one room to the other. But I think there's still information like this room used to be whatever. My mom and her boyfriend went there when they went to Wales, and they said it was awesome. They really enjoyed it.
Erica put together an itinerary for them, and that was one of them. So.
Yeah. So that's definitely one we need to see also. But yeah, you had a couple of honorable mentions.
Well, I've only got one really, but it's Alnwick Castle.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in Northumberland. Roughly 300 miles. 400. No, actually, I'd say it's closer to 400, actually. 400 miles.
Okay, yeah.
From London.
Yeah.
It was built in the 11th century, and it's probably most famous as, like, a filming location these days. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was filmed there. Yes!
Yeah.
And Harry Potter, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
It was a stand-in for Hogwarts Castle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
I love Downton Abbey. And also, most famously, Flogget and Dickinson's Real Deal. So, yeah, that's probably what it's most famous for.
Is that not the one that they used in Blackadder also?
Yeah, Blackadder too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The first series, yeah. That was the castle.
And is it a castle though, or is it ruins like Conwy?
I think it's ruins.
Yeah.
I think it's ruined.
Yeah.
I'm not
I can't remember
though.
what it looks like either. I'll have to look it up at some point. But
yeah,
I vaguely remember that it looks really cool too. So
yeah.
Whether it's ruins,
it's grade 1 listed. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. We are way over time, so we've got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we appreciate your support, and we will talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.